Last time on Out Chasing Stars, we began our journey down the Madagascar coast in preparation for crossing the Mozambique Channel. The plan was to make several stops along the way, and we coordinated with our friends Carlos and Linda from 22 South. We wanted to spend as much time with them as possible before we parted ways. We finally had to say our goodbyes at Nosy on Tanamora and continue making our way south, which wasn't easy. Getting all the way down the coast of Madagascar is a challenge so far, let's put it that way. I'm getting a little concerned about how much diesel we've been using because there's not a whole lot available between when we leave Madagascar and all the way to South Africa, and we likely have to stop for a while, and who knows how long we're gonna have to stop before we can make it all the way down. So we are doing our absolute level best to sail, but as you can tell by this absolute racket in the background, Madagascar just does not really want to cooperate. When we left, we had about 7 knots of true wind speed. It has been dropping. It is now down to around 3 knots of true wind speed. And this boat is not the world's best light air catamaran. I love our boat, but it's just an honest statement of fact. Like, she's way down for cruising. She's got lots of the goodies and extras, so she's a heavy girl. Light airs, not her specialty. So we're doing 1.6 knots, which I think is like the slowest we've ever sailed, and that's wildly helped by the current. So it's going to be a bit of a tough and frustrating day for me. I imagine at some point the winds are going to die down to 2 knots, and then I really have to turn an engine on. They are supposed to increase again in the afternoon, so maybe what we'll do is we'll like kind of optimize our angle for an afternoon sail into the island where we're going. But yeah, frustrating. In all, we had to make it about 300 miles down the coast to where we'd prep for crossing the Mozambique Channel. The channel can be so unpredictable that it was my goal to depart Madagascar with as full a tank of diesel as possible, so any motoring made me worried. This really is a day for some light air sailing practice, which truthfully we don't do all that often because we usually wait to have enough wind to sail. But going down the coast of Madagascar, that's not really an option, unfortunately. It does feel like the wind is trying to fill in. I've seen 6-7 knot gusts a couple times, so I'm holding my fingers out that the afternoon winds are slowly approaching, and maybe we'll be able to get up a little bit of speed for the afternoon. My wind whispering skills were on point that day, as when 11:30 rolled around, the wind picked up to the blazing speed of about 8 knots. Feels like we are moving and grooving now.
6.5 knots?
Well, after a morning of 2 to 3, that's like warp speed, Captain.
David's just not very patient with this thing.
Not very patient. Don't like going slow.
That's okay. We know the wind fills in every afternoon, so tomorrow we're gonna leave later.
Yeah, I guess we'll capable of learning from our, I won't say mistakes, but experiences.
Okay, sure.
It felt really good to finally get our boat moving at a respectable speed again. I'm sure Amy finds me much easier to be around when we're not going slow. We'd planned to sail about 25 miles that day down to Nosy Lava. There was a fairly well-protected anchorage there and some more gorgeous scenery, but we weren't planning on staying too long. Our next stop was one we'd been waiting for since we got to Madagascar. In our attempt to learn from our experiences, what time we're leaving today?
Oh, it's about 10.
Okay, so just about the time the wind kind of dies and then starts to fill in from the other direction, huh?
Yes, but we've got a lot of miles to cover today, about 30 miles, and the wind will probably be very little for a while, but then it should fill in, and we're hoping we can get some really good sailing in.
Yeah, that would be nice. It's kind of what we're counting on by leaving a little later. kind of running the edge of that twilight zone. Sure enough, according to our plan, the winds did fill in enough that we were able to get the sails up. But not according to our plan, they filled in from an entirely different direction than I anticipated. I think it's safe to say that I have no idea what the winds in Madagascar are doing. We waited this morning for the winds to fill in a little bit, and they have, but rather than coming out of the northwest like they did yesterday, they've been coming out of the southwest to start, which is kind of exactly where we need to go. And now they're moving around a bit to the west, so we're keeping our fingers crossed they're going to continue moving behind us. But as a result of this, we are having to sail extremely high. We've got the wind vane autopilot setting at 31 degrees. The only reason we're able to do that right now is because it's relatively calm out here. The wind hasn't picked up the waves quite yet. So we're sailing slow, but we're sailing, and that's a victory. We are kind of pointing at the mainland though, so we really need that wind to move around. But we can do the best we can for what we can. How's it going up here now?
Oh, you know, a little bouncy.
We are bouncing. What happened? I thought there was like no wind earlier.
Well, now we have about 15, 16 knots of true wind, and it's 50 degrees off our bow. And I mean, there's nothing out in that direction, so honestly, I'm surprised the waves aren't bigger.
Yeah, truthfully, I think I am too.
I mean, that's the whole Mozambique Channel there. I don't understand.
Yeah, the weather in Madagascar is just kind of weird.
Yeah, but anyways, we are a mile and a half to the corner. Woo.
Boom!
And then we will tuck into this river, body of water or something. Looks
Moramba
very
Bay, technically, so, you know.
Oh, okay,
Bayish.
Moramba Bay. And I'm a little concerned because I think there's a lot of boats there. So I don't know if there's room for us, but we'll figure it out soon.
Yeah, we got friends in there all wrapped up if we have to.
Which we've never done before.
Never done before. But
No.
Tell me what's exciting about this place.
Oh, there are baobabs here.
Yeah, which is kind of our last big thing we really wanted to see in Madagascar.
Yeah. And also lemurs, a different species of lemur. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's exciting to finally get to see some of those.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully there's some space for us. We'll get settled in. We'll get to hang out here for a couple days.
Yeah, a little rest and relaxation after this pounding. This sounds kind of nice, huh?
Yeah, do some touring, do some chores, all that good stuff.
Productivity! We managed to round the corner and make it into Moramba Bay just as the sun was getting low on the horizon. The wave of boats that had left Nosy Be before us had congregated here, but we found a space and must have scared a lot of them off, as the next day it was much emptier. We'd arrived into another beautiful part of Madagascar and were thrilled that we could see some baobab trees from the boat, but we still wanted an up-close and personal experience. You're looking particularly excited this morning.
I am. We're gonna go do something awesome today, which is we're gonna check out those baobab trees over there.
Yeah, we are finally in a part of Madagascar that has those trees, huh?
Yeah, not any in Nosy Be or in that like upper northwest area. So we've got some here in Moramba Bay, and we also are gonna be on the lookout for these cute little black and white lemurs that look like mini pandas.
Aw, it sounds cute.
Yeah, so you know, pretty Madagascarian day. Malagasy day.
Well, that's, you know, appropriate given the country we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It looks like we run into our first challenge.
Yes, well, it is about an hour before low tide, and it's pretty low.
And there's like a 10-foot tide swing here today, so
yes,
a lot of water.
So we walked the dinghy up as far as we felt we wanted to, and then dropped the anchor. So we've got an hour to low tide, an hour till it gets back here, and then we probably have an hour
before we'd have to swim back.
We'd have to, yeah, well, something. So we'll figure it out.
Well, let's get cracking then.
Crack-a-laggin'.
Leaving the dinghy that far out meant there was one thing that had to be done before we could start exploring.
After that nice long walk through the mud, you gotta clean the feet off, eh?
Yeah.
First step to any hike from the beach.
Yep.
Now we are going into the jungle. We are working off some advice from our friends Kimmy and Trevor. They said come to this beach, walk into the jungle, you should find some massive baobab trees. Calling where we're on, or what we're on, a path is a little generous, whoa! But hopefully it'll help us find our way in and find our way back.
The jungle was thick, and we only had a vague direction to head in. But as seems to happen quite frequently, you turn one corner and find exactly what you're looking for.
Oh, Nelly. So dry. And with all the leaves around, it feels like New England autumn. It's kind of weird.
However,
It's ridiculous.
if I yes, pan up a little bit, those trees in the background, those aren't things you see in New England. Dun 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 dun!
Found a baobab.
Baobab tree.
We found a lot of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
There's, many Amy's tall.
Yeah, so put your arms out. Let's see how. Yeah, just about an Amy's arm length wide, and let's go up, shall we? Oh, that guy's tall, and I think he's kind of a baby one.
We have a little baby baobab.
I'll say this one's a little more Amy sized.
Yeah, but
Aw.
holy crap, I'm not gonna hug it because look at those spikes.
Yeah, those look a little painful.
Yeah. So the baobabs, all the leaves and flowers are up top, so you can't really see them, but this we can see some leaves and a lot of flowers, and that's kind of cool.
I have to admit, this is really freaking cool. It really kind of gives a sense that we are truly in Africa now. Like, it's pretty special. I'm glad we made a stop here. Reach the end.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of poking around this little peninsula here. I think our beach that we landed on was the actual proper beach, and the rest of these are mangrove beaches, which is still pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise going on in here.
Yeah, like crackling and bubbling and just life making noise. Life letting you know it's there.
The whole area was fascinating and beautiful, but we just couldn't get over the sight of those baobab trees.
All right, babe, what'd you think of your first baobab experience?
Baobabs are pretty great.
Yeah, these are pretty special, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's just such a unique part of Madagascar and Africa in general.
True. You know, you watch the movies, think the baobabs, the lemurs. We're getting all those things crossed off the list, but this has been a pretty special little adventure this morning.
Yeah.
Knowing the tides would be shifting soon was acting as a good alarm clock. As we made our way back through the jungle, we kept a sharp eye out for the other thing we were hoping to see here.
Well, how about that? Found some lemurs too.
Found some lemurs. They're chattering away, raised the alarm.
Yeah, we're sorry guys. We know you're not happy we're here, but we just want pictures.
They kept a close eye on us.
Are we that suspicious?
Yeah, except we can't move quietly here at all because of the leaf cover, so...
They know we're here.
Yeah, no sneaking up on them.
Oh, did you find another baby baobab?
It's a baby baobab.
Well, we think it's a baby. We have actually no idea how old these things are. That thing could be like 200 years old.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's an old wise baobab.
Oh, it could be, but then what would it make the big one there? Be like ancient.
Ancient. Yep, that would do it.
Little Dipper's starting to think about floating.
Bless you.
Thank you.
We appear to have found our beach, which is a good thing. Those paths kind of back in there were all a little windy, a little tough to tell exactly where we were. So glad to be back. Little Dipper is, oh, not quite floating yet. Plus, I think there is one more baobab at the end of the beach. I'm gonna go check that out, let the tide rise a little bit more, and then we'll head back.
Since we'd gone out and had some fun, when we got back, it was time to do some chores.
And here's David, handling his hose.
Ah, your sense of humor never fails to amuse. But yes, we've got to try to top up. It's a little bit of a question in terms of whether or not we're going to have as much diesel as I would like to get all the way over to South Africa. We may try to make one more diesel run, kind of a little on the sly, but we'll see how we feel with these topping off the tanks. That is very dark around you.
Not quite 0 dark 30.
Oh, but it's close.
It is close. What time is it? It is, oh, 7:20. It gets dark so early here and light so early.
It
it's
really
ridiculous.
does. Tell us what's going on.
We are ready to leave Moramba Bay. We've been here, 4 nights.
Yeah, I think so.
We saw the baobab trees. We saw some lemurs. We didn't get to eat any shrimp. But we are ready to make the jump down to
Katsepe,
which is near
I think Majunga.
Majunga is a pretty big city. Katsepe is a small bay just at the mouth of the river. If you can even call it that, that might be generous. But anyways, we're headed there for a night of internet and possibly more diesel.
Gotta have to see about that one. Gotta kind of sneak in if we need diesel, but yeah. So it's 90 miles away. It's kind of a long distance.
So we are getting up and leaving with the dropping tide. The tide's about to shift any minute now, and I'm gonna sail overnight as much as we can.
Trying to preserve our diesel.
Trying to preserve diesel, sail during the day as much as we can as well, and see how long it takes us to get the 90 miles covered.
This could be our slowest, quote, passage ever.
It's less than 24 hours, hopefully, so can we really call it a passage?
Well, that's why I said, quote, passage.
Okay, fine.
Other cruisers had anchored at Katsepe and taken a local boat into Mahajanga, which involved walking by the port authorities. Since we'd all cleared out of Madagascar and Hellville, that was a bit dicey. I had to determine which was the bigger risk, having to talk to authorities in Mahajanga or potentially running out of diesel in the Mozambique Channel. At least the winds decided to try another new scenario on this sail. Plenty of it.
I am not too ashamed to admit that the winds are confounding me here in Madagascar. When we left after dinner last night, I thought it was going to be light winds pretty much all night, and they were for about the first 5-6 hours. You know, we had maybe 4 to 7 knots of wind, and we were sailing like, 2 knots, and then all of a sudden, we had like 15, and it shifted way around behind us, and then all of a sudden it popped up again, and winds jumped all the way up to like 22 for a while. They've kind of settled down in the upper teens, but yeah, that's just way different than what I thought they were going to be doing. And now because of that, we've got some kind of short and choppy waves, so it's a little bit bouncy out here. But we're sailing much better than I was expecting, so we've been doing like 8 knots for the last few hours, and that's good because that'll get us into where we're headed maybe early enough that we might be able to sneak in today, maybe leave very quickly, kind of see how we're feeling. But so far I'm sailing well, better than I was expecting.
Sailing faster than expected opened up an option for us we hadn't really considered. We changed plans and turned for Mahajanga itself.
We are approaching on into Mahajanga, I think. I never know how to pronounce these names, but we're still sailing. The winds are doing their crazy Madagascar thing. They've just been circling around us. That whole land sea breeze effect is pretty gnarly here. Approaching into the city, there are a ton of local fishing boats out, and they have nets. They're marking them, so at least I'm able to kind of dodge and figure out where the nets are. To be honest, what is really surprising to me here is they actually have a marked channel. And it's where they're on the charts, so that's pretty impressive actually. Kind of nice, because the water clarity here, not so nice. It's very, very brown. Kind of reminds me of the chocolate milk being back on Galveston Bay, to be honest. And that was never super great. But we're still sailing, and that's what's the most important thing. We're going to be into town in plenty of time that I'm going to get a chance to jump ashore, do a couple quick errands, and then we're going to try and keep moving over towards Bali Bay, and that's where we're going to set up camp, watch the weather, and hopefully be ready to set off towards South Africa soon.
Rather than take a local boat across the bay and risk walking by the authorities, we elected to anchor just outside of town. Amy dropped me off with an amphibious dinghy landing so I could find a tuk-tuk and get some errands done. A great idea in theory, but turns out I'm no Navy SEAL. I did manage to get done what was needed, and then we could get ready to move again quickly.
I am back from my excursion on shore. It was challenging, to say the least. There's the beach that's behind me. It was where we went in and dropped me off. I had all 6 of our jerry cans, a backpack, the tide was out quite a ways, so when Amy dropped me off in the dinghy, we were like, oh, we hit land, I'm gonna get out and walk the rest of the way. Well, turns out there was another layer of mud after that, and I sank in up to my calves, lost a flip-flop, so not the best beach arrival I've ever had. Had to walk up the road, found a tuk-tuk, communicated his English, my French. We somehow managed to figure things out, but went to the bank, got some money, got some fuel, got some new shoes, and went to the grocery store. So we're all topped up. Got as much diesel as we possibly can have on the boat. We're provisioned up and feeling real comfortable about getting all the way to South Africa now. Oh, feels good to have that done. Now I just have to kind of wait for the wind to shift around again, because with this land sea breeze thing, it's coming from exactly where we want to go. So we'll wait here for a few more hours, and then probably around midnight or so is when we're actually gonna head out and start sailing towards Moramba Bay, our last stop in Madagascar. We got what I guess would qualify as a very late start last night, technically. After I went into Mahajanga and got the diesel and the provisions and everything, the tide and the wind weren't very good for us to be leaving, so instead we took a quick, like, 2-hour power nap. We got up around 10:30 and then we set out. And that was nice because the wind had pretty much died and the tide was going out, which was a nice little boost. Amy took the first shift. I went back and got a little more sleep. Now I'm on second shift. We've got daylight up. We are approaching Moramba Bay, and that is where we're going to have our last stop in Madagascar, because we'll wait there and wait for a good weather window to cross to Mozambique.
We'd missed the previous weather window and arrived into an empty Moramba Bay, expecting to wait a while for another one. Turns out, we didn't have long to wait at all.
Hey y'all, thank you for checking out our last sail in Madagascar. There was a whole lot going on that little jump down the coast, but there's a whole lot going on right now as well. As you can see behind me, that's Starry Horizons, and she is out of the water. We are here in Virginia, and we're gonna store her for the summer. Excited to be getting back to Texas and see family. But don't worry, we've still got plenty of videos coming out, including our next one, which is crossing the Mozambique Channel. We had some crazy weather, we lost a prop, we got to South Africa. So make sure you stick around and check that one out. We will see y'all next time.